What's up, guys? Today we're doing another deck tech video. Today we're looking at a mono Noxus deck utilizing Draven and Darius. This is a deck that I kind of threw together after an expedition run, after doing a mono Noxus expedition run. I thought, this worked better than I thought. Let's see what we can do in Constructed. I ended up really enjoying the deck, and so I thought I might want to share it here with you guys. So let's just jump right in. Right off the bat here, we play one copy of Draven's Biggest Fan. I don't particularly like playing more than one copy of Draven's Biggest Fan. Having more than one in hand feels really bad, the main reason you include him is for drawing Draven. So we got just one copy of him. We have 3 copies of Legion Drummer. This is a card I have not seen many people use. I actually think it's really strong. 2 mana, 3/2 means it's going to trade pretty well. In addition, it gives a supported ally quick attack for this round. So for those who don't know, support means when it attacks, it buffs the unit to its right. This comes in really good handy when you have Challenger, which goes us right into our Trifarian Glory Seekers. We have we have one other Challenger unit in the deck, but the Trifarian Glory Seeker is a 5/1 Challenger, can't block. When you give that first strike, it pretty much is going to insta-kill anything on the receiving side, especially early. And then you get another round with it because your Glory Seeker lived the round. I think it's Legion Drummer, and this combo feels really nice, and it's really underrated. Legion Drummer also combos well with our Trifarian Hopefuls. This is a very good card to run if you're running Mono Noxus. It's pretty much guaranteed to come into play as a 2-mana 5/2. Once again, 5/2 with quick attack is a lot better, but otherwise it trades pretty well. It's actually a better defensive card than it is offensive, as it will get chump blocked to death most of the time, and thus not making its 5 attack matter a whole lot. That being said, on the defensive side, you can line it up against some of their mid-range creatures or units, and the 5 attack will trade even. So great card to enter in here. Arachnoid Sentry. So this was an interesting card, kind of the bread and butter of what made me decide to build this deck. Ironically, I don't think the theme ended up paying out, so I was kind of wondering, can you make a stun deck only in Noxus? Traditionally, that's a Yasuo deck in Ionia Noxus. I wanted to see, hey, can we make Legion General work using stuns built only in Noxus? So we included the Sentry. I don't think that the Legion General really paid off that much here. I don't think it's a bad card. I am still including it in the deck. But this stun mechanic actually is pretty decent. It being a 3-mana 3/2 means it doesn't trade particularly well for its mana cost. But that being said, the stun mechanic can really help you get just the right number of attackers through, or really good into like a Tryndamere drop. Playing this in response means that Tryndamere doesn't get attacked that turn. It gives you a lot more time. I think this card definitely has its uses. It's a little pricey for how much you get for it, but overall I think it's worth including. Moving on, we got a 3-mana Culling Strike. This is one of the better control cards in Noxus. Takes care of a lot of the early champions. Elise, Braum, will hit Fiora, although less often because most Fiora decks will use burst spells to buff her attack. But it will hit a good number of units, definitely worth having. Hits most bench riders, so definitely worth including. Moving on, we'd have Draven, 3 mana, 3/3 quick attack. I think he feels really strong on the attack, especially on turn 3. In addition, Draven gives you Spinning Axes. Spinning Axes are 0 mana burst spells. Discard a card to give an ally +1/+0. Usually you'll be discarding another Spinning Axe to get it. That way you're not losing too many cards in value. But every once in a while it is worthwhile to discard something else and get that much needed bump, whether that's to trade even or maybe as the final kill on the Nexus. Moving on here, we have one copy of Might. Might is a card I really like to include in my Noxus decks, at least one copy of. 3 mana burst spell, gives an ally +3/+0 and Overwhelm. This is really handy on a few of our bigger creatures that don't have Overwhelm, suddenly turning them into pretty big hitters unexpectedly. Then we also include 1 copy Nox and Guillotine, another card I like to usually run 1 copy of at least in a Noxus deck. This doesn't do anything for most early or mid-game cards, unfortunately, which is why I only run 1 copy. It can be dead in your hand a lot. But otherwise, it's really good against people like Tryndamere, or a buffed up Braum with regeneration, perhaps a flipped Vladimir or a Garen. Those regeneration units are hard to bring down, and Nox and Guillotine is very useful at finishing them off quickly. Bread and butter of control, Whirling Death. So a battling ally strikes a battling enemy. Fantastic card, especially when we have a bunch of people who come in hot with 5 attack. Usually this will bring about a kill. Is pretty good in response to opponents. Can be used to break barriers to make you trade even, especially against Fioras. Whirling Death is a fantastic card. Unfortunately, where it falls short is it does little to nothing against elusive decks, which is a problem because if you can't get an ally to be battling, then it's a dead card in your hand. Moving along here, 4-mana Basilisk Rider. This is a card you don't see often. It does have Allegiance, which, for those of you who aren't aware, means if the top card of your deck when this is played is also the same type as this card, in which case Noxus, then this thing gets +1/+1 and Overwhelm. So it's a 4-mana 6/3 Overwhelm. This is a fantastic card to include in the deck. It's one of our finishers. The Overwhelm units are our finishers in this deck. This thing has great value. I couldn't give it enough praise in this deck. Moving on, our main card draw, Trifarian Assessor. Trifarian Assessor is a 4-mana 4/3 that lets you draw a card for every 5-power ally you have. Well, we have a ton of 5-power allies. We got the Basilisk Riders, we have Trifarian Glory Seeker, Trifarian Hopefuls, we have all of our late game units, Legion General, Darius, Minotaur Reckoner, Savage Reckoner, which we'll get to. Overall, very good card. You should at least get 1 card. Typically, it's not uncommon to get 2 card draws out of this, and a 4-mana 4/3 doesn't feel too terrible to play. Next, we have Decisive Maneuver. So this is a kind of interesting one. You don't see this card played often. I honestly didn't think much of this card until I used it in an expedition. One of the main reasons I would encourage people, if you don't already, if you have a good first expedition pick something you're not sure on the second round in your expeditions, and try a bunch of cards you don't usually play. You might be pleasantly surprised. This was one of the cards I tried, and I was very impressed with. Throw this bad boy on a blocker that is blocking one of your Overwhelm units, most notably Darius, and suddenly that unit's going through unblocked with a +2 bonus. This card is very good, one of our finishers, game enders, very good. Can be used defensively, is not optimal, but can be, so that is nice. A little expensive, but if you're ending the game, it's worth it. Legion General. So once again, this was the card that decided, hey, can we build this deck? Will it work? Ironically, the deck does work, but for different reasons. This card is a 5-mana 4/4 fearsome, gets +1/+1 for every unit you've stunned or recalled this game. Now, we don't have any recalls, we're only stunning. Our stuns are Decisive Maneuver, but less so prior to Legion General, because usually this is a finisher. And then we have the spiders that we talked about, and then our main sources of bumps is the Minotaur Reckoner, which we'll get to here in a second. Overall, this card typically comes out anywhere between a 5/5 and an 8/8 for me, which is usually pretty efficient. It does its job, it trades well, it draws aggro, but the fact it doesn't have Overwhelm makes it feel kind of lackluster in the deck. It definitely isn't the bread and butter of the deck I thought it would be, but that's okay. However, if you do have one of these guys buffed up and throw a Might on them, that will end games. Next, we got Darius, just 2 copies of him. I didn't want too many high drop cards. I didn't feel I needed extra copies of Darius. Plus, I don't particularly care much for extra copies of Darius turning into Decimates. Doesn't do a lot for me. But 2 copies of Darius is one of our main finishers. 6-mana, 6/5, Overwhelm, turns into a 10/5 Overwhelm when they have 10 or less life on their Nexus. Next is the Minotaur Reckoners. These are probably our best late game unit. These feel better in play than they appear on the card. 6 mana, 6/6, breaking even in that regard. Start a round, stun the weakest enemy. And while it might be the weakest, it means they have to block with something bigger. And this can be really good, especially into decks that don't play a lot of units. Can stun like Fiora decks. If they only have Fiora, well, now Fiora's not doing anything. Yasuo, yeah, now Yasuo is not doing a whole lot. Minotaur Reckoner feels really good, especially when you get multiple copies and you're stunning a third of their board. In addition, there are main bonuses for buffing the Legion General. And then lastly, we have the Savage Reckoner, 7 mana, 7/4 with Challenger and Overwhelm. This is a pretty decent finisher, some decent control. If you are looking to finish, grab a 1/1 and deal 6 to the face. If you're looking for some control, grab their biggest unit around, and 7 attack usually will wipe it out. Especially when you pair it alongside one of these Legion Drummers, making that a 7/4 quick attack with Challenger. So overall, that's the deck. Honestly, on paper, doesn't look that impressive. It looks kind of meh, whatever. It's a mid-range deck, but I've had a lot of success with the deck. I think it's really fun. I think it's definitely worth trying out if Mono Noxus is something that you're interested in. I'm going to post the deck list down below. As always, let me know what you guys think, and hopefully you enjoy the deck. Yeah. Don't think we want any of those things. Culling Strike could be good.
Victory requires a sharp blade.
If we don't play anything here, we get 5 in for free, which I will gladly take. Fortunately, we have a really shitty turn 3. Oh, actually, we got 3 drop now.
I'll cut them apart.
It's not a very useful turn 3. We missed the stun opportunity. I think it might be better just to hold and
water changes, but never
Culling Strike. I don't know, it's probably worth saving Culling Strike for Fiora. We'll just do this now. Not the best use of it, but we can use the stun bonus on the Legion General still, so it's okay. This way, if he attacks, we can block with it.
Sweep them away.
Oh, what do we want? Oh, that's 9. Okay, now I think it's worth Culling Strike. We're taking 2 cards, and he's not drawing a card off of it. Bank 2 mana for a Whirling Death. Okay.
What form will the waters take?
It's a little annoying that it lives, but wow. That really sucks.
A gift from the river folk.
Remember me.
Well, we're off to a really bad start here.
We ride for Noxus!
Hopefully this can make through a few rounds, but we'll see. This deck plays more combat tricks than any deck.
Ride for Noxus! Strike, we will reform.
Well, if he wants to uptrade, which I imagine he will, he's going to need to do... Hopefully this sticks, because then we get 6 to the face. And he doesn't draw. Nope, he's got to fight. Gosh damn it.
What form will the waters take?
Well, we're getting outplayed pretty badly here. Three, 6, 7 to our 5.
Always 2 steps ahead.
You pay.
I don't think she can win this with 3 mana.
The dark beckons. I will play my part.
That's fine. Alright, so we stun that. Fiora sticks around. We could play 2 of these. Stun the Fiora. I think this will be a big attack.
We swim within the flows of magic. Nothing but Noxian might!
Still a big attack. So if they repass, that's 5 damage. Would kill me. They draw a card. They still take a lot. 5 plus 9. Remember 1.
Currents, pull them down.
I'm okay with that because it keeps... Never mind. As I say, it keeps my
From the river.
6 drop people on the in play, but not the case. Should probably swing, combat trick, remover right away.
I will put you down.
Ooh. Is it worth
Your move.
stunning? Keep it alive? I think it probably is. Might get denied, we'll see. Ah, fuck. Now we don't get to play anything on our turn. Not good. Not good at all.
My war host awaits.
On the bright side, we got some big people here.
No suffering, so we may end it.
Lifesteal. Seven mana.
Close the distance!
I want the draw. I
Only
do.
the finest serve.
Especially with that.
The order rewards its faithful.
With me!
I almost think I should Culling Strike this so they don't get life back. And Fiora has to block this.
I'll show you how it's done.
We attack here. 7 gets through or Fiora blocks, and they're going to need to use spells to save Fiora. So this will likely uptrade
Sharp
or go
blade,
through.
Sharp mind.
Whatever they play is going to be burst speed on Fiora.
Counter and strike.
Okay, well that gives us, well, yeah, I think it's worth it. That guarantees a kill on that. Whirling Death.
These are dangerous lands. Pay or bleed.
They cannot hide.
No Fiora attack. That's a good tell. If Fiora doesn't attack, it means she doesn't really have a good combat trick here. Because if they have a combat trick, she should be able to take out 1 health Legion General. So if she doesn't attack here, okay, here's the attack.
Try me.
That makes sense. Play another Riposte. That costs 4. She's just trading it? She's just trading her Fiora. Do I Whirling Death? No. I don't think so. Alright, we'll trade this Fiora. It's a pity I would have liked another draw out of this, but
Few
you know,
earn the
can't be
right to
helped.
call themselves Trifarian.
That's good. That beats any of their blockers. Beats Fiora too on the defense. Annoying.
Anything for the right coin. It's Draven time.
They could have Judgment. They don't have very good Judgment play though. 2 to everything doesn't really do much for them.
I'll do it myself.
I sense fear.
You cannot escape.
Okay, we uptrade everything.
Shadow.
It seems really feeling like the beginning of the end for him. Anything they play, we stun, so... I don't even care about him, honestly. I'd rather save the mana, and we can just spinning axe him if we need to. Hey, we did it. Victory! That looked really bad early. Hold it off. Let's go.